So, like I said before, typically just going to give you a rundown, ask a couple questions, just raw, naturally talk, and then go from there. So, we are here at the Tat Chat Podcast Studio, and I am here with...
Manny Hernandez.
And what's your Instagram?
At Manny_the Machete.
Okay, and where do you work at? How long have you been tattooing? Just a little bit about yourself to make sure to hook on the people who are listening.
I work at Hand of Faith Tattoo in Phoenix, Arizona, and I also own it. And I've been tattooing, I think I hit 13 years this year.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
What type of tattoos?
A lot of traditional, like mainly traditional stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I do a lot of like mandalas and like all that stuff too, like in that style.
Okay. So just for everyone who's listening and watching, traditional as fuck.
Yeah.
Like traditional as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like all my favorite tattooers are just like, even when I started tattooing, I like gravitated towards like a lot of dudes that had already been tattooing and doing it in like 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. And when I got my apprenticeship, I was showing, I don't know if you know him, Dave Ritchie.
Yeah, I know who it is. I know who your mentor is. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave, like when I came in, I was like always attracted to like this like corner of flash that he had in the walls, and the shop I learned at, like that shit was like bombed in fucking flash. It was sick as fuck. And I was always attracted to like this one corner, and he made me trace 10 pages of flash a day. So my fucking hand was just falling off all the time. And it was like Lee Hanna and Uzi flash. And I would just trace the fuck out of it over and over and over again. And when he noticed that, he was like, well, if you like this shit, like you need to check out these dudes.
Yeah.
Like it was like Sailor Jerry, Ed Hardy, all that shit. So all those guys are like my biggest influences. And that's why I kind of like stick to that style. And it's not really like broken down like more East Coast like traditional. It's more like that, like real bright, like Texas style traditional, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Like I love that shit. Like it's like the perfect blend to me of like old school with like a new school taste and touch on it. Like brighter colors and shit like that.
Yeah.
Not like 900 pounds of black. And
shit. See, and that's what I feel like I tell people too, is a lot of the newer traditional guys that are killing it now, we're just doing a modern version of what people were doing back in the day. The heavy black is rad, but we only do it when it's necessary now. You know what I mean? It's not as popular as it was before, where it was like, 85% black and the rest color.
Yeah, I feel like it was like that whole, like, I'm sure you have heard it, like the rule of thirds, where it was like 1/3 black, 1/3 color, 1/3 skin. And I think people like kind of took that like too literal, and then also forgot like, yo, your fucking lines are black too, dude. Like you just got rid of half of them with that shading. You know what I mean? So when I would notice that just in other tattoos, I was like, oh, like that's a cool tattoo, but I would see it healed on somebody like that I had done, and I put too much black in it. I'm like, fuck, like why did I do all that techie ass line work in it?
Yeah.
It's all fucking gone now.
Yeah.
So started just like leaning more towards that like Texas style, or like Mike Malone did it a lot in his flash and shit, where it was like there wasn't even black in some parts, and it just looked fucking sick.
Yeah, it brought other stuff forward and backward, even though it was a traditional tattoo.
Yeah, hell yeah. And like just like that, when I discovered his stuff, and then like saw a lot of like the Ed Hardy like magazines. They like there's a Godzilla back piece in that fucking thing that I was just like, what the fuck? And it was done in like the 70s, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, how the fuck is this dude doing this crazy ass shit like back then?
Yeah. So instead of like when you first like were doing your apprenticeship, instead of it being stuff that kind of brought you like kind of over it kind of brought you into it. You were doing stuff, tracing stuff that you were already kind of getting hooked on. So it kind of brought you in. Instead of you being annoyed or flustered, you were like, this shit's dope. I'm going to keep fucking doing it.
Yeah. So I would keep fucking tracing that shit. And then Dave would kind of notice like, hey man, all your fucking tracings are just
the same
traditional fucking flash. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, doing shit that I like, you know?
Yeah.
And then he was like, all right, no more tracing that shit. Like you need to trace like everything else. And I was like, fuck. God damn it. Okay. And like trying to trace like an old, like fucking Paul Booth, like skull fucking
Yeah,
weird Swiss
you're
cheese
like,
thing. I'm
nah,
like,
nah,
I don't
nah,
even
nah.
know what the fuck is happening here. Like my brain doesn't work like that. It's like works real flat. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I gravitated so much towards like traditional was it just had that more like flat graphic look rather than like realistic, like super depth, like crazy look to it. You know?
Yeah.
And then even when I started tattooing, like my first few tattoos were like from that flash that I was like in love with.
Yep.
And Dave like noticed that too. He was like, no more
Yeah,
traditional.
get over this shit.
And he was like, I understand like what you want to do, but I can't set you up to fail and like send you into the world. Only knowing how to do that stuff when this was, 14 years ago, when you still had to be like a street shop tattooer
Yep,
to
absolutely.
like make money,
Yep.
like you couldn't like go into the world and be like, I specialize in this and people be into it.
Yep.
Like it was right.
Nowadays, it's crazy. It's so much different now. Now people only do certain shit.
And it's fucking wild because you'll see like an apprentice who like, they're good as fuck at painting traditional flash and like all this shit. And you're like, God damn, like that's fucking sick. But like, can you tattoo a cursive name?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And nope.
Yeah, like can you do like that Chicano style, like fucking super flowy cursive, like, because that's what you're going to be tattooing at the beginning. That and fucking stars and paw prints and just like little shit like that. So Dave, I was at the time, I was like, man, fuck you. Like I want to tattoo the shit that I like. And then after my apprenticeship, when I was working in shop and like actually taking walk-ins and shit, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like at least I know how to draw.
Now it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can take all the stuff that I did learn a little bit, apply it to these like quote unquote like easier tattoos and like make them nice. And even then, dude, like fucking infinity symbols, dude, when I was tattooing a lot of them, I was like, yo, that shit is hard as fuck.
Dude, I tell people all the time, and no one ever listens. I feel like the tattoos that are so simple and that we don't want to do are way harder because they're less forgiving.
Oh,
we can hide everything. Let's be real. We can hide anything on everything. But you're doing just an infinity symbol. What are you going to hide?
Dude,
how are you going to hide it?
Yeah, or it's like that, and then it's a cursive name in the middle, too. So it's like if you fuck anything up, you're like, oh, fuck, dude.
No shading, no nothing.
That, or like anything that's just an outline that's like simple, and they're like, oh, yeah, I want to tattoo like kind of fine line. It's like, fuck, I got to tattoo this in a 5 or a 3. You're like kind of sweating,
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that like he did that because it sharpened me so much, And in my apprenticeship too, I wasn't allowed to tattoo like anything other than like a 3-liner and a 7 mag.
That's crazy. It's actually funny. So I actually met him, your mentor, and at one of his shops. And I remember him talking about like, man, you guys use a big ass fucking needles and you guys can't do blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, you're telling me I should do a traditional tattoo with a 5 right now? Fuck that. Dude, fuck that.
So, dude, get this. Like, when he did that shit, like, he would just give me like whatever, a pack of fucking 50 fucking 3-liners from like whoever, like Mithra. Remember Mithra back in the day? Like, just not good needles. And
you'd still have to kill it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but so like get like have you ever lighter popped like a needle?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would lighter pop a 3, dude, and that shit would look like a fucking 8 round, dude. Like I would like turn my machine up and just fucking graze the skin on the top, and it was like the spread out of those needles. It was like almost like they were like in a flat, so it would like leave a line like an 8. And my best friend, he has a bunch of tattoos that I did like that on his leg still. And they're fucking blown out and shit.
Could you see all the line like the needle markings in it and shit?
No, dude, they fucking blew out together. So it looks like a solid, like decent 8. You know what I mean? But it's like,
but you knew it was a 3.
Yeah, I do.
Crazy.
And like I would like hide a lighter under my fucking station, and like when he wasn't looking.
I was gonna say, so he didn't look at your tattoos afterwards and be like, "That's not a 3."
Yeah,
and you're like, "Yeah, it was, motherfucker."
Dude, like I fucking love Dave, but Dave. Like, and he's told like my guys at the shop that work for me, when he's come by, like I didn't teach Manny like how to like physically tattoo. Like I taught him, like he taught me a lot of like the mechanics of tattooing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which was like customer service. Don't be fucking around. Give people like the best tattoo you can in the shortest amount of time. Like don't be taking 1,000 smoke breaks or fucking off. Like. Don't act like you're annoyed. Like he really helped me, and it was really funny because at the time when he's telling me this shit, I'm like, motherfucker, you don't even do that.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna tell me to be nice to people
When you're
and
a
you're
dick.
like yelling at people when they come in. And he's like, why do you think I'm telling you this stuff?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So he would check out my tattoos and he would like look at them and be like, yeah, cool, that looks good. And then, but he taught me more of like the business like aspect, how to approach people, how to be nice to people to get them to get what you want.
Mhm.
All that stuff, like more of like the caring side of like customer service / whatever the fuck you want to call it, you know?
Which is crazy because, I mean, if you think, 10, 13, however many years, over 10 years, people aren't teaching their apprentice that. Like, that's like a new thing. Now people are be like, oh, you have to do these things. Back in the day, 13 years ago, that's definitely a rarity. Most people would be like, dude, you're doing a badass tattoo. Fuck it. Get them out.
Yeah. And I think like the biggest thing too was like with him, like he always told me like, I can't fucking draw, dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to draw. Like I just like, he was like kind of like that flash jockey dude that he could technically like back then for sure, like put in like a good fucking tattoo. And, he's like, but if you can draw and then you can also like take all the shit I'm telling you and like kind of like hybrid that shit, like you're going to be fucking successful. You know? So I just kind of at first did it really like sparingly. I was still like a dickhead, you're young. Like I was 21 when I graduated my apprenticeship. So I was fucking super young. And I just like, even my first shop, I was like kind of, oh yeah, just let me know what you want. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. I'll be right back. Just doing stupid shit like that. And I would get like hard checked by like people, like I worked with my brother-in-law at the time and I did that once and I come back in, he's tattooing my customer. I'm like, what the fuck? And then we walk outside and he's like, don't ever walk away from fucking someone like that again. Like you need to figure out what the fuck they want and like be in the back. If you're going to be smoking, you need to be drawing that shit.
Yeah.
Like don't ever just leave your customer hanging
snuck
like
that shit from you.
Yeah. And I was like, motherfucker, dude. And I was pissed at the time, but it was a huge lesson.
Yeah.
It was really important. Like, oh, okay. Like I get like what he's saying and I understand why he's telling me that stuff. And just being open to that was like really important.
What do you feel like is the difference between, for instance, your apprenticeship 13 years ago compared to like maybe apprenticeship nowadays? Because I know like what I feel is different, but I've also never had an apprenticeship. I'm self-taught, never had a mentor, but there are some big changes. I'm just curious if you yourself have noticed them or you can tell that there was a big difference.
Yeah, I feel like because I've been around a lot of apprentices, a lot of like the apprentice style now, it just like it really does focus more on like the art aspect, which is sick, like
absolutely,
that's cool. But like sometimes I feel like they get to focus too much on that and they don't get to watch like the interactions with the customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that is like way more important sometimes, because not everybody's gonna like want you to play artist on them, and like there's a time to be like trade worker, craftsman, tattooer, which is give the person what they want.
Yep.
And then there's a time to be like tattoo artist, draw
and creative and shit like that. Yeah.
And like, especially at the beginning of your apprenticeship, no one knows you. No one gives a fuck about you. If you tell them you've only been tattooing a year, they're going to be like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
Like, then I want this exactly how I showed you,
Yep.
So I think the main difference is that like they don't get like that interaction. So they don't know how to make someone feel comfortable right off the bat. Like, hey, I might only be tattooing for like a year, but like, here's my stuff. Here's this drawing. Let me draw something.
Still getting him in the chair no matter what. Yeah.
Like that. I think it's just a little lighter. You don't get as much like hazing and shit, which is
100%
good. Like I'm very like on the fence. Like, cause how long have you been tattooing?
This is my 8th year of tattooing.
So like
when I first messaged you, like 8 years ago on Instagram, you were actually the first person I ever talked to in Arizona. That's when I first started tattooing.
Yeah. Well, so to me, it was like one of those things, dude, where like, why is it like that when like normally you would get a weird reaction out of that? You know what I mean? Like someone like reaching out that they didn't have an apprenticeship or they just started tattooing and they're like, oh, what's up, dude, blah, blah, blah. And like, they're trying to talk to you, like be cool. Most of the time, like as far as like the old school or back in the day, it would be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yep. 100%.
And like, I get that, like protect tattooing and like kind of don't open it up too much and shit. But in the same aspect, it's like you want to be able to like advance stuff.
Yep.
You don't want it to be like stuck. So I hear a lot of people that are always like, oh man, back in the day, fucking this and this and that. And I'm like, fuck back in the day. That shit sucked. Like,
dude, this is the one thing, and I guarantee you'll agree with me 100%. I just said this in one of my last podcasts. I think tattooers that were tattooing 20 years ago were really good 20 years ago. But I don't know any tattooers that have been tattooing 25, 30, 20 years that are just slaying it now.
Yeah, I think there's like, I get what you're saying. Like the average or a person that's not like, oh shit, like who the fuck is that guy? You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
Like just the average like tattooer. I could agree with that.
It's like harder to be good now and like stand out now than it was 25, 30 years ago is what I was getting at. You know what I mean? Like good then isn't good now. Like there are people I know that have been tattooing 3-4 years and they eat almost everybody. Yeah. And it's crazy.
I think the big thing with that though is like people like attached to nostalgia too much.
Yep.
And then also like not willing to like change with the times.
Yep.
Which is like,
it hurts you, man.
Yeah, like
it really does.
You're only shooting yourself in the foot, and like the amount of shit that I've learned from someone who was an apprentice at the time. Like I'll use my buddy Nigel, for example. That dude, I mean, he's
dope as fuck.
Urgent, yeah, on
dope.
fucking Instagram, dude. He fucking kills it.
Yeah,
and when he first started apprenticing, I was working at High Noon, and that motherfucker would paint like 20 by 30 paintings, smoothest shit you've ever seen. Draw whatever you could fucking ask, like in his style, like crazy. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how are you doing this shit? Mm-hmm. And then he'd be like, oh, dude, like here's how to use your reference, like fucking blah, blah, blah. This is before like pre-iPad shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd be like, oh, like, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, just draw it smaller. Shrink all your shit. Draw it smaller. So like if it gets cloudy, then you know to simplify it. And then you blow it up and it's simplified for you. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, okay, cool. I learned so much from like him and like all that being, and it was because I was open to not thinking I was above him because he was an apprentice. Yep. You know what I mean? 100%. Like we're both here for the same reason. You care about tattooing, so do I. Yeah. And that means I should care about you. Dude, to advance this shit.
There are so many tools in a toolbox that people don't take option. They don't, they use the same tools every time because it's worked. But there's plenty of other tools that do the same exact job, but better, more efficient, whatever it helps. But people are so scared to try something new. Yeah. It's crazy how big that wall is for most people.
Yeah, it's like the whole like fucking coil rotary debate shit.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
And it's like, dude, that's a never ending fucking thing. It's like, if we want to be real, dude, open a coil or open a rotary motor, pull that shit apart. There's coils wrapped around that fucking spindle. It's a fucking coil too. So shut the fuck up.
What do you use right now if you don't mind me asking?
I use both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's like, to me, if there's like a million paths, and if the goal is start with a stencil, end with a really good tattoo, it doesn't matter how the fuck you got there. Just do it the best you can. Yeah. That's what is like the most important thing out of all of it. Doesn't matter what you use, how you get there, who taught you what colors you use, what needles you use. Like, who gives a fuck? If it's a good tattoo at the end, it's a good tattoo. You did your fucking job, and that's fucking sick. And I want to see that shit. Post it.
Yeah, I hate that's a dude. I hate that's still a debate. The whole coil and rotary thing drives me nuts.
Yeah,
it drives me absolutely nuts, man. Like, I don't know. Did you listen to the Baba podcast at all?
No.
Oh my god. Shit on my rotary. He was just shitting on my rotaries. Yeah, every time. And he's listening. I'm sure he's gonna listen to this podcast. Yeah. He was shitting on him. He's like, "Oh yeah, your little vibrating dildo," and da da da. I'm like, "Oh, here we go."
And that's like no disrespect to anybody that feels that way. Like I 100% think like people should be familiar with coils. Absolutely. Because it's like,
it's part of it though.
Learning your trade, learning where things came from, and it's like the same thing with like rotaries. If you go back and read, I think it's either Paul Rogers or Sailor Jerry talks about tattooing with a rotary that someone sent him from the UK.
I think it's Rogers that did that.
Yeah, and he's a kid, couldn't figure out how to make it work or whatever, and you get pissed at it, throw it across the room, go pick it up, it still work.
He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, and it was just like this mystery thing, but he's using a direct drive, So it's like they're using those back in the day too. Like that's old technology. It's like everything in tattooing has been tried once. Whether
Yeah,
that's like
I just think
drawing.
it's just more mainstream now. So rotary is becoming more popular. So people are starting to bring it up a little bit more. People are trying to make it more of an issue because of how common it is. But I know some of the baddest traditional artists that use rotary.
Yeah, dude.
That's the biggest thing is traditional artists. Realistic tattooers typically don't give a fuck. But like old school traditional heads, they're like, oh, coil. I'm like, dude, you see Mike Chambers use rotary? It looks the same.
Yeah, and
it looks the same.
Dude, I mean, I think the biggest thing too is like, when do you start caring about your hands? Too late?
Facts.
You know? Because like my hands fucking hurt when I'm using the goddamn brick machine, like lining shit. Like I love it, but my hands hurt.
Yep.
It's like, so
longevity, dude.
You know, like, do you want to tattoo forever? Because I do, you know? And if that means I have to use a fucking pen, then I'll do it. But
I feel like that's a pride ego thing at that point. Like, dude, longevity is important.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like I know those people love tattooing as much as I do. So it's like in reality, like I know you would give it a shot if it meant you being able to tattoo still.
Yeah.
You know?
5 years more, 10 years more.
Or like 20 years.
You never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like anything. It's like, you know, like learning to just like any sort of like health maintenance, hands, taking care of your hands, taking care of your back, taking care of fucking your mental health, you know, any of that shit is like all super important. And it's okay to like admit that it's fucking important.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And try something new.
People won't get over it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing 20 years from now. We're going to stop tattooing and it's still going to be a problem.
I think
it's still going to be a problem.
I think it'll be something new, you know, because at one point or another, like, it's going to kind of be like, okay, they're just both good. Yeah. That's fine.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too, is think about it. Someone who's starting, say someone starts tattooing 10 years from now. A coil is going to be, like, not the thing to do. People are going to start off with the rotary, like, right off the bat.
Yeah.
That let's be real. It's probably what's going to happen.
I feel like that's happening currently.
Yeah, but I meant, like, it's going to be, like coils. I wouldn't say coils going to be in the past, but it's almost going to be not as important as it was before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, here's a brand new, you know, rotary. Here you go. Not here's a hand-built coil. You know what I mean?
And I think it's, like, it almost should be that way. You know what I mean? Like, cool, learn technique.
Moving with the times.
Learning, you know, like, how to apply a good tattoo. Figuring out even if you are interested in coils, you know, and if you are, cool, well, let's show you some coil shit, you know, and like it'll go from there. It's like the same thing with like building needles and like needle bars versus cartridges.
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh,
we
can't even get into that one because it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you know, people get mad, and that was the cool thing with like when I apprenticed to Dave, I was like, oh, do I need to learn how to build needles? Like, what the fuck for? You can just order a box, you know, like you're not gonna like burn your fingers, inhale a bunch of flux, get all fucked up to build 5 needles.
There's a couple artists I know that literally will be like, can you build a needle right now? And you're like, no. And they're like, well, then you should be a tattooer because when the supplies are all out and you can't even make your own shit, what are you going to do? Go work at McDonald's? And I'm like, man, shut up.
Well, it's like either way, like if all the supply demand like washes out and shit, you're not going to be able to get the pins anyway. Like,
nothing.
They all come from China.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucked.
Yeah, whatever. Everything. At the end of the day, what you use, whether it's a coil, whether it's a rotary, I agree. I think if you put in a good tattoo, you put in a good tattoo.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the style. It's weird. I know portrait artists that still use coils. It's weird, but they do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's advantages of both. There's disadvantages of both, dude. Like
100%.
the maintenance of fucking a coil machine is... It makes you
I think that's the biggest
want
downfall.
to throw it through the fucking window, you know? Especially if you don't know what you're doing. You're just twisting screws and like all that
Hoping
shit.
for the best,
Yeah, you're going to fucking get that thing so out of whack, you're going to be like, okay, I should have just bought a new machine.
What do you think the downfall for the rotary is?
I think burnouts of motors and shit, you know?
Like, or like the ones that are like that are wireless. It's dead and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, like the battery pack thing.
Like what the fuck am I going to do?
I mean, even like that, like, because what, like, I guess they like make the wands that are like the magnet.
Yep.
Right? Is that, I guess that would be like the downfall is like dead, and then the motor has a lifetime.
Yeah.
You can only get so many hours out of it.
Okay. Moving on. So we're back, and we went on a break, and I ate some food, and now I'm ready to go. We were talking about machines and coils, rotaries, yada, yada, yada. I tend to ask everyone that's on the podcast similar-ish questions just to kind of get an input from everybody.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone in mind that you feel like, not necessarily you look up to, but you feel like is just killing it right now? Maybe they don't have to be, they're not famous or rich or whatever, but just tattoos are fucking sick. Art is sick. Someone that you can just picture right now and you're like, honestly, everything about this person as an artist is fucking fire.
I mean, I had mentioned him earlier. It was like Nigel.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like technically one of the best tattooers like I know personally, and then like even outside of that, like I haven't worked with him for a while and we don't chat or talk that much, but just seeing his like tattoos now, like what he's doing, like how different they are compared to like not even just in people in Phoenix, but like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's something new, it's something fresh. Like I don't know where he gets the inspiration from or what, but him for sure. I think that he's I wouldn't say underrated because like I know people know he's a good fucking tattooer, but I think more people should know about him.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I feel like that's a lot lately. I feel like people I like the most are the ones that have like less than 10K followers. They kind of just go to work. No one, like, people know about them like locally, but like if you were to ask somewhere else, no one would know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're the best ones.
Yeah,
the best ones.
They're like those like sleeper dudes, you know, that are like they're just like holding it down for like the hometown or where they live at, you know, which is like cool. It's like almost more important at this point, you know.
There's so many fucking tattooers. It's hard, anyways.
Yeah. Him. Fuck. I mean, dude, we got like. Phoenix is like, as much as like there is a lot of shops here and shit, we got a lot of good ass like heavy hitter shops.
100%.
That are like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like everybody at 27 downtown.
Yep.
Like I think like Anthony and April for sure is like another person where I'm like, just technically like so fucking good, dude. Like when I worked with her for a little bit, it was like, seeing her like pack fucking white, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like not even irritated, like perfect, like could get a photo afterwards, and like it was like, how the fuck are you doing that? Like I don't get it. Their whole shop is just fucking amazing.
I agree.
Like Anthony, the way that they both like set up and like the aesthetics of the shop, and like it's a little more like boutique or like private studio-ish.
Yep.
But when you walk in, you're like, damn, this place is fucking nice. Like, holy shit. I mean, that place fucking, more people should know about like Mondo Ruscon. Do you know him?
Yep.
Yeah. Like he's old, but like he's fucking sick. He still rips, dude.
Yeah.
Like he's fucking really good. That's the dude that taught me to take care of your fucking hands. Cause like he had like a lot of hand like issues. And like people know about him. He's like painted and like all the old heads know about him, but as far as like newer generation, like seeing people do something that's like, it is traditional, like his shit is traditional, but it's way different than what you would normally see. He was like a big influence. I met him in my apprenticeship. So like he would come around and like I'd be like, oh, I can't fucking draw this thing. He'd be like, oh, just fucking do it like this, bro. Like super like, and that's how he talks, like super mellow, chill, like like he would just be like, oh, just like do like this, and like perfect one line, like drawing it with a fucking micron on a fucking.
Oh, so you're like trying to pencil sketch it, and he's just like micron.
Yeah, just fucking the perfect sketch and like perfect drawing, like, and he'd be like unfold it or like whatever, like hand it to me, and like it's a fucking. I'm like, cool, man, like, can I use this? And he's like, yeah, just fucking tattoo like that, I don't care. And I'm like,
you're like, you damn near drew this fucking thing.
And it was like, okay, cool, you know, like, and he was sick, dude. Like that dude was fucking rad. Trying to think. I think for me, like, I try to like show like Arizona a lot of love because I feel like a lot of the time, like, I think we kind of get wrapped up in like how many shops are here, but it's like, dude, 8 years ago, like how many shops were here and how many of those fucking don't exist anymore?
Yep, closed down.
Yeah, they all go away. So it's like, as long as like we're focusing and doing the shit that we're doing, like those shops are just going to be kind of like the open shut. Yep. They're going to reopen as a different name. They're going to shut.
That's literally what I was about to say next, is all the shops that close down, someone else buys a shop and they put it right there, and then they close down, and then it happens again, as if someone's going to get success from someone else's failure. You know what I mean? Like trying to like feed off of it.
Yeah, and they don't like account like, oh, maybe that's
there's a reason why I failed.
Yeah, maybe the location sucks, or maybe like whatever. Maybe there's too many shops right there, or whatever it is, you know. But even like like tattooing in Glendale with all the shops there, like if you're good, you're gonna stand out, and then everyone's gonna be like, the guy in Glendale, just go to him, you know, and like shit like that. I'm trying to think of like other people. Like I think it's biased, but like all the dudes at my shop, I get to work with them every day, you know, like Jared, Andrew, Avi, and the new dude John. He's been there a year now. He moved here from Virginia, and that motherfucker, like, he does like fucking laser, fucking straight, perfect lines, and like the color is perfect, like all that shit. Like, I'm stoked on all those guys. Like, that's always like weird to like hype up your own dudes.
Nah, it's not biased, man. When you got killers, you got killers. That's as simple as that.
And it's like, it is like Avi. I mean, you knew Avi, like you saw him coming up. It's like the shit that he's doing now is like fucking insane.
Dude, I'm not gonna sit here and deny it. I think that your shop is full of badass tattooers, 100%. And most shops have good tattooers, but then they got some. Yeah, and there's like, you know what I mean. But
there's like the dude that kind of like anchors it down, you know. He's helping everybody draw their shit.
Yep.
Like he's making sure like everybody is like kind of able to like work and make money, like whether, and that's usually like the owner, you know, or whoever it is, like hopefully, and that's cool too, like whatever. But that, like, those dudes are fucking crazy. Like I just got back from Oklahoma, like moved back, and I was gone for 2 years and like didn't even like have to kind of worry about the shop. You know? Like I was back every like 2 weeks or whatever, but I didn't have to worry about it in the other
self-sustaining.
Yeah, like those dudes were like responsible as fuck, like not only doing good tattoos but treating customers well, making people feel like good. And we're in the fucking hood. We're on like 44th and McDowell, like 44th Street and McDowell.
And I've driven past it a few times. I'm like, damn,
it's fucking, dude, that fucking bus stop right there, like holy shit. Like, and it's wild, but we just make sure people feel safe and like it's all good, you know. And that's just how Phoenix is. Like you drive half a block that way, it's nice as fuck. You drive a half a block this way, it's hood, and then the next block's super nice. You know? That's just Phoenix, how it is. And like again, like I said, like showing Arizona and like Phoenix, like love, because a lot of the time like people like hate on it, like, oh, I fucking hate Phoenix, or oh, I hate Arizona. It's like, dude, we got so much like deep roots as far as like old tattooers go too, and like still tattooers that are tattooing here, you know, like Aaron Coleman and fucking Sage and like all these fucking dudes that are like still killing it. Like Sage is still a fucking killer. Like everything. Like he can freehand letters like I've never seen before. When I worked for him, he was drawing like an exit sign for like the back of the shop, and just like drew 2 straight lines, perfect old English on a piece of board, and I was like, what the fuck? Like how? He was like, you can't do that, and I'm like,
fuck you.
No, what the fuck, you know? So like that shit, and I don't know, dude. There's a lot of good shops, you know, here, like that are doing great shit. That, you know, it's like Josh Carter's shop, like Old West. They're fucking all killing it. They got a fucking stack of good ass tattooers.
I agree.
There, you know, like
I agree.
Crazy. Like
I actually reached out to a couple of them too for the podcast.
Yeah, and they're like
dope, man. Some people are really dope.
Their whole lineup is just like, you could go there, you get a fucking good tattoo. You know what I mean? And that's cool to see, and it's like cool. It's like even how I feel with this. I guess like with Nick, like when he said like someone like you, like I would group you into that, because to me, people might think you're annoying or too loud or too crazy or whatever it is, you know, like they might like think of you that way, but to me, you started a podcast and you care about tattooing and you care about Arizona tattooing being like heard. That is like super fucking important, that people don't like realize like how important that is for our tattoo like area, community, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's super important to like kind of breathe this like new life or whatever it is into like our area. The thing about it too is I feel like people are sleeping on us a little bit. Dude, not even necessarily me. I just think in Arizona, dude, there are a lot of, let me pause it. There are a lot of tattooers that shouldn't be tattooing, but the amount of tattooers that we have that are just
killers that are just so fantastic that, again, like you said, you can go to most of these shops and get a tattoo from any person in there, and every single tattoo just be 100% rad.
Yeah,
100%.
You could walk in there and get tattooed by everybody, have a full sleeve, and it'd be sick as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, get little bangers, and you'd be dope. I think like the flip side too, like what you were saying, like there's a bunch of tattooers here that shouldn't be tattooing. You gotta have those ones to make the good ones look extra good. You know what I'm saying?
I don't disagree with you.
And so I always tell people, like, you might not like it, but there's a fucking seat for every ass. Whether it's the person that like isn't that good, hopefully they'll get better. But on the flip side, like, they're the reason that you do look even better. I was
gonna say, I feel like the artists that are good that maybe don't have as much hype, they have a little bit more respect because of those tattooers. I will say that. Like, people look at them and like, oh, I did see this guy down the street, but your shit's just
like way
wow.
Better.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with that.
Like, and it's like weird because it's like even those people like funnel out like bad clients or rude clients.
Yep.
The ones that are like gonna come in and haggle you on a minimum.
They'll do those.
They'll go up the street and this shop's doing a $20 special.
Holy
this
shit.
Fucking dude's doing, like whatever, names for $20, and he's trying to cut his teeth and get good. And as much as like I want to hate on that shit, hopefully that dude gets good at that shit and like then becomes somebody in Arizona that's like repping the fuck out of it, because there's so many people that like have like taught themselves or like they get like a shitty apprenticeship and then they're fucking killing it. So it's like, why can't those guys be it too?
How long do you think it took you to feel like you were good? Like how many years did you be like, you know what, I'm actually a decent tattooer? You know what I mean? I think a lot of tattooers don't think they're good, but like, when did you finally be like, you know what, I can put in a good, solid fucking tattoo?
It was probably like 5 or 6 years in. So probably right around when I met you.
Yep.
Like, that's when I was like, oh shit, like, I think I could do a good tattoo.
Yeah, you got people message you from Washington being like, yo, you're so dope.
And it was like, dude, like, to have that happen, it was like, oh shit, like, cool, that's weird,
Yeah.
That was like one of the first times I've ever had anybody do that shit.
Dude, like I said, I don't even know how I came across your Instagram. For the people who are listening or watching, before I started tattooing, I knew that I was going to come to Arizona and that's how I was going to start my journey. So I don't even know how I came across, but I came across Manny's Instagram and had reached out and being like, yo, I'm going to start tattooing. And like, I was just kind of being like a little, of like a little fangirl in a way, trying to, take some knowledge and see like what I should do and what I shouldn't do and shit like that. And so it's weird to see years from now, years from then where we're at and shit like that.
Yeah. I don't even like remember what I told you back then. You know what I mean?
You were hella nice. Otherwise you wouldn't be sitting on this damn couch.
Yeah. And like, thankfully,
you know what I mean?
I was, because that was, to me, it was like, I want to represent like Arizona tattooing, like how Mondo, when I met him, when I was apprenticing, how he represented it to me.
Yeah.
So it was like important for it to be like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like that full circle moment, and I don't know. I'm just like stoked that I feel, I'll go back to like when I felt like I was good at tattooing. Like, I feel like I still like struggle with it. Everybody struggles with it on a daily.
Absolutely.
But it was like 5 years in, getting messages like that from you, seeing my tattoos, having people be like, "Hey, is Manny here?" Like walking in and I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck do you want?" Yeah, like, and like realizing like, "Oh shit, I'm starting to get busy."
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And I had bounced around like a couple shops like here and there. Like I worked at High Noon, and when I worked there, I feel like that was when shit like really started like clicking. Like learning that like more importantly than doing like all these tattoos, like being consistent was like the most important thing.
100%.
Whether that's same inks, same machines every time, same needles every time, same this every time. Like seeing like Mikey, I'm trying to think of who was there. I think it was Mikey and then Johnny Wogan.
Woo, Johnny Wogan's a killer.
That motherfucker, seeing both of those dudes like tattoo and then like watching Johnny like, dude, just like draw everything on, fucking tattoo it like it's like nothing. Like his skill and finesse is like insane.
Dude, he's so good.
And then like same with like Mikey's ability to like just like it's like a fucking printer, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like the style just like comes through, boom, like every time.
Yeah.
It looks like a Mikey tattoo every fucking
I would
time.
easily say So Johnny Wilkins is one of my favorite tattooers in Arizona. I think a tattoo application. Every time I see his tattoos, one of his clients came to my shop. I just saw his client literally a couple days ago, and instantly when I saw the arm, I was like, "Oh, Johnny Wilkins did that shit. Love it." But if I ask 50 people who their like top artist, maybe / owner is in Arizona, I'd say 40 of them always say Mikey.
Yeah,
it's like it's a common thing all the time. They say as an owner, as a tattooer, as an technical application, all that. They always end up going that route.
Yeah, he's been tattooing a long time here. Like he's technically, I guess, what you would consider like older. He's been tattooing like a few years more than I have. I want to say he's like up at like 18 years. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Jesus, I was 10.
Yeah, dude, some shit like that. I think it's like
I was 10 years old.
I think he's been tattooing 5 years longer than I have. Or
crazy.
So it was like getting around him, and like me and him were like at the time when I worked there, we were like best friends. So he would like fucking share shit with me all the time. We like just clicked really good.
That's rad.
And like he would just like tell me like, dude, just set up the same like needles and this and this and this every time, and like your tattoo's gonna come out like that every fucking time. And I was like, that makes sense.
You got to think too. If you are using the same needle sizes, same ink, same everything, you're also building who you are as a tattooer. So finding out, like I said with Johnny Wilkins, a Johnny Wilkins tattoo.
Oh yeah.
So when you're using the same ones, you're not switching it up all the time. All the way down to color palette. A lot of people use the same color palette in their tattoos. Now you're kind of building yourself. People are starting to understand who you are when they see your tattoos. They don't need to know who it is. They know. You know what I mean? They just know that it's yours. So that kind of coincides with just kind of creating. Obviously, it's not quote unquote your own style necessarily, but you kind of presenting it off that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like something that like at least people can like, oh, that's the red that homeboy uses all the time.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
And like, yeah, just like so working with those dudes, those group of dudes like Luke Dell, he owns Rattlesnake, where Nigel works too. Him too. He's doing crazy, trippy, weird fucking tattoos, and like seeing how those dudes were operating, and then me going there when I worked out here in Glendale, going to there, and me doing like just walk-in tattoos, and then Jeff, who's the other owner, Jeff Galino, him being like, dude, your portfolio looks like shit compared to like how you tattoo. What the fuck are you doing? I'm like, oh, just bad at taking pictures, dude. Like, update that shit. So then that was when it really like clicked. Like, oh, I'm doing better tattoos. I can like tattoo consistently. I can tattoo well.
You take a better picture.
Yeah, like learn to take pictures. Like
this
flash burns.
I literally I will say it every single podcast until I no longer have a podcast. If you're gonna tattoo, you literally in 2022 today, you got to know how to take a photo. You got to know how to post on Instagram. You got to know how to literally do everything. Everything. You don't got to dude, I know some fucking fantastic tattooers that their photos suck. Their portfolio sucks. Everything about them sucks besides the fact that they can do a fucking amazing tattoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude, in order to be good at what you're doing and be successful, make more money, get in the clientele, be happy with life as a whole, be a tattooer that can retire. You got to be doing these fucking things.
Yeah.
You have to make an impact one way or another, not just doing a solid tattoo and then sending people on their way.
Yeah, dude, get a fucking accountant too. You know what I mean? All that shit's important. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that, like, within saying all that shit, like, it's so much to manage. Like, it's also okay for you to, like, ask for help.
100%.
Whether it's, like, getting an assistant or, like, being like, fucking, hey, Don, like, dude, I don't know who to go to fucking pay my taxes. You got an accountant guy. Like, like reach out to the community that's around you so you can get like some tips or figure out kind of like what to do. That's, people aren't going to necessarily be like the most open sometimes.
That's where I was going to get next.
Like they're not going to want to share right away and shit like that. Like I used to like be very like weary of like asking too many questions because I didn't want to get like shut down, you know? And, but like just ask. If that guy's a dick, move on to the next one. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be nice to you like I was nice to you.
See, and that's the thing too, is I feel like maybe it's in other industries. I just know that for sure it's in our industry. A lot of people don't want to ask questions because what we were saying earlier, some people just don't want to share knowledge. They don't want to, bring someone else up. They don't want another one. You know what I mean? They don't understand that helping someone out do it the right way is beneficial to our industry. You know what I mean? And not going about it the wrong ways and doing things they shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean?
I tell the guys at the shop all the time, like, I'm never apprenticing somebody unless it's like my daughter or
Yeah.
like my wife. And like the reason being is like I have all these young tattooers that hopefully will reach out and be like, hey man, can I come by and hang out the shop and meet all the guys? Like, yeah, come in, see us tattoo. If we can help you with something, it's not just free knowledge. We're not just going to give it to you. But if you're familiar and like you come in and we're comfortable around you, like we'll share some shit with you.
Yeah.
Because to me, like I want everybody, if the goal is to have Phoenix just like all killers, everybody doing good tattoos all the fucking time, then I'll do my part. Because there's so many young tattooers in tattooing that like don't have a place to turn. They kind of get like kicked out the door on their apprenticeship, and it's like later, dude. And then they are like, okay, well, I think I'm supposed to open a private studio. It's like, no, motherfucker, wait 10 years. Like, you know, like don't do that, you know. And if they had someone like you or me or whoever, like just being like, nah, dude, like get in a fucking shop, go to this shop, ask them for a job, do this, do that. It'll help you. It'll benefit you in the long run. So when you do get to the point where you can open that studio or whatever, you'll be hyped and you'll have the ability to like make it long lasting.
You'll be successful at that point. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are jumping into it and they don't realize that, first of all, the first 3 years of any business can get shut down. It could end. It could not work out. It could not, you could be not doing something properly. So that takes you 3 years for you to even know if that's even going to happen. So you need to know right when you're jumping into it that that's not you starting it. You're not starting it until another 3 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Wait, I think I opened my shop when I hit 10 years. Because I always...
We're not going to talk about that.
Well, dude. And it's like, to me, it's one of those things, though. Like, sometimes you have to build the environment for your own success. And sometimes it's 10 years in. Sometimes it's fucking 3 years in. And that's okay, too. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. Like, when did you open your shop?
Like 3 years in.
Yeah. And it's like, to me, it's like, at least you had been tattooing in the valley. You kind of knew like the climate of how everything was running. You had the idea of like, fuck, well, I can open a shop and just try to get a bunch of killers in here and like fucking represent tattooing how I want to represent it, which is tight. But like to me, like I had just told myself off the rip, like,
you weren't
not opening a shop till I'm 10 years in.
Yeah.
And then, we just hit 4 years. So it's like sick,
Fucking crazy.
So
that's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Moving along. Relax, Ruben and Danny. I know you guys are having so much fun back there behind those cameras. They're laughing and they're just enjoying it. They have party hats and whistles.
Hit the button, dude.
This one?
Yeah, that's them right now, dude. Crickets.
Yeah. It's funny because they can't hear it.
They're like, can we fucking leave already?
Probably. Are you guys ready to go? Good, because I don't care. He shook his head. He said, I don't care. He's like, All right, moving along to serious business. Let's move along. Okay. We talked about tattoo machines. We talked about artists that we think are doing good. Let's talk about if you had to say something to someone, and I asked everybody this. You had to tell someone who was upcoming, they want a tattoo right now, starting in 2022. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to be successful. They don't want to fail, but they don't know, the right path or how to go about it. What would be like your general quickness to just tell them what to do?
Is this like pre-apprenticeship or?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Like I want to start tattooing tomorrow.
Fuck, don't. I think it would. I don't know, man. Like because I kind of, you get like the people that walk in like, oh, apprenticeship. Like, where's your portfolio or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's a portfolio or whatever?
Oh,
or like, it's like one of those things. Like, hey, like, I think it would really be like, be respectful of not only like who you're coming and asking for apprenticeship, but be respectful for yourself and like carry yourself like you want to be a professional. Not just like, oh, I do doodles, like
I could doodle a little bit.
Yeah. Like if you want to be in professional tattooing, like carry yourself like a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, you don't have to like come in a goddamn suit on, but like,
But that'd be
show
nice
up,
though.
hey, what's up? Shake my hand.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, look at me. Don't show me your fucking Instagram for a portfolio. Show me an actual portfolio.
Yeah, because
You know?
that right there shows you cared. It wasn't just some pictures you took.
Yeah, like that. Like you could go out of your way and go to Michael's and buy a $10 fucking thing and put your art in it.
Yep.
You know that you're investing in your
Mhm.
art to like keep around or to show off or anything like that. It would probably be like that. You know, like don't even worry about like respecting, like even like because I hate that fucking word. Respect yourself enough to represent yourself 100%.
Yeah.
You know?
I always tell people like when people, because I get asked all the fucking dude, the amount of messages I get, like, hey man, how do you start? I always tell people to go to is find a shop or an artist that you just fucking really like you just fuck with everything that you see, and then just go spend lots and lots of money on getting tattooed by them.
Just get fucking blasted.
Go get fucking blasted by them. Go spend time with them. Go get tattooed by every fucking artist in that shop. Spend, get drinks with these motherfuckers. Do all this shit. You get natural respect from a friend, from someone you have a relationship with. Once you have established a relationship where a tattooer does understand their client, then you could be like, you know what? Hey, man, like I actually have thought about tattooing, blah, 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 blah. Bam! Pull out the portfolio and be like, look, this, I've been drawing, dude. I always tell people, like my approach when I was trying to learn, unfortunately, I wasn't taken in, but I tell every single person. I walked in, even to when I first started tattooing artistic, I walked in and said, hey, I did these tattoos in my bedroom. I didn't want to. I tried to get an apprenticeship. I fucking suck. Can you help me make me better? Like, I just want to be better. I love it. I want to do it. I suck. They legit looked at me like, you think you suck? And I'm like, 100%. They're like, all right, you're hired. Let's get it. And I'm like,
and that's how.
Oh, bet.
Like, there should be more places like that. You know, not that it's like everybody's responsibility to make sure everybody gets good, but like, even like I sucked out of the beginning of my apprenticeship. Apprenticeship or not, like I fucking sucked. It wasn't good. Like I took my portfolio of tattoos to the dudes at Golden Rule at the time. Like this was like back in the day when it was like, who was there? Taylor Ryan, Jason Anthony, Alex Empty, this dude Chris. I can't remember. Chris Robin maybe was his last name, I think. I was like, hey, can you guys fucking critique this portfolio? And they fucking ripped it, dude. They were like, this shit sucks. Like, this is not good. This one's okay. This is fucking bad. You need to change this. Like, and they ripped it, but it was like, that showed me they cared because they could have just been like,
no.
Yeah, cool. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. They look good.
Dude.
You know, that's almost worse.
Holy fuck.
Like,
that bugs me.
You know, like, because like that's worse. Because like if you instill that someone's doing good instead of telling them they're doing bad, what are they going to continue to do?
Bro.
Do bad.
This is a topic that literally irks me every time. Allie, I don't know if you know who Allie is at my shop.
I think she just followed me.
Okay, tight. Yeah. I showed her your Instagram. Okay, so she was at another shop, and her mentor at the time pretty much was like, oh yeah, you're doing good. Like, good job. You know, good job. You're killing it. Oh, good job. Oh, what do you think about this? Oh, good job. Every time. Everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So she wasn't learning, dude. And her artistic ability, like drawing wise, is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like absolutely fucking fantastic, right?
Okay.
But her tattoos fucking suck because someone is just telling her you're doing good.
Yeah.
Right? Well, time spent with her and whatnot. She finally comes to my shop, and then that's when I did it. And I was like, yo, I sucked for a very long time. Unless you want to be just like me, sucking for a very long time, stop fucking doing this, and this, and only do this, and you might be good. 2 weeks later, slaying it. Month later, holy fuck. 6 months later, boom. Now, booked months and months and months in advance.
Yeah.
She's only been tattooing 2 fucking years.
Dude, it's one of those things, like, if...
Only 2 years.
Like, if you invest into, like, again, like, invest in your communities, your people that are around you in your shop, or... everybody hates confrontation. No one likes that shit. Everybody doesn't like the uncomfortability of it, you know?
On both sides.
Yeah. And it makes you feel fight or flight. It makes you like, oh, fuck, like, this dude don't like me because he's fucking telling me I suck, you know?
Yeah.
Or you're delivering it and you're like, fuck, like, this makes me feel like an asshole, you know? But do it. Like, that's only going to make the person you're telling grow and you grow as a person. And everybody benefits. You know, if it's somebody who works at your shop and you're telling them that shit, guess what? They're going to get better. Hopefully they stick around. And they're going to thank you for being honest rather than you blowing smoke up their ass.
100%. And honestly, it sounds weird, but like you get like a different type of loyalty when someone feels like you benefited whatever the fuck they're doing, whether it's taking a picture and you're like, yo, if you do this, it's gonna be better, and it gets better. You get a type of respect from that comes and grows to loyalty, which is why a lot of the shops that you see have the same people in it for years and years, because someone is teaching them. They're helping each other, and they'll build in kind of a mutual respect that one another's just kind of tossing shit at each other, and they're getting better and better every single day, every single tattoo, every single drawing, every time.
Yeah, because you're like pushing each other.
Yep.
Rather than it just being like you struggling in the corner in a quiet ass shop where no one talks to each other, or everybody's just telling each other they're doing good because they don't want that confrontation.
Exactly.
Or who am I to tell you that you're not doing good or whatever it is, you know? Like, be honest with each other and like help each other out the most. Hey, I noticed like you were struggling with this. This is what I do. Why don't you try that out?
Yeah.
And like, if you're open to it, like my rule of thumb is like, I'll try everything once.
Yep.
In tattooing.
It may not be your thing, but it might work.
Yeah.
It might do exactly what you need it.
Needles, cartridges. Try it once. And even the worst that happens is you gain some sort of education from it.
Yeah. Whether it's something like, oh, I'm not going to do that, or I am. I think the one thing that's really cool, and you kind of mentioned it for like half a second, is when you're teaching someone something or you're showing them something, it does teach you. Right. So I've caught myself, honestly, for some reason lately, I've caught it in like almost like a flashback kind of view. So I'll look at someone and be like, hey, you haven't really been painting too much. Like, you know, you were painting a lot for a while. Like, you haven't really painting. If you keep your artistic ability above, you know, your tattoo ability, like everything's going to grow. And then I'll step back and be like, oh shit, I haven't fucking painted at all this week or all this month. Or, you know, hey, don't use your mag that way. You're going to start chewing people up. And then all of a sudden, boom, flashback. I'm in the middle of a tattoo. And I'm like, oh shit, I kind of shouldn't be doing that. I need to angle my shit properly. So like you kind of are teaching yourself or reminding yourself things that you should and should not be doing when you're helping other people do what they should or should not be doing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, because I think it's like I've talked to people about like apprenticing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this motherfucker don't learn. It's like you're trying to teach this dude shit you forgot, and you forgot like all the little micro adjustments you used to have to do when you first started, you know, like how to like pull your machine towards you or push a needle or push a line or whatever it is. Like you forgot all that stuff because it's second nature now. So trying to teach somebody something that is second nature is super hard because you got to like pull it out of yourself and remind yourself again of like, oh, why do I do that again? Like it's not just because that's the way you do it. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of people do get apprenticeships where it's like that. Like, you just do it this way, and that's why. Yeah. And it's like, well, you especially now have apprentices going like, well, why? Yeah. And it's like, fuck. Like, I don't know why. This is just how I do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of it right now. Like, I have an apprentice right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. And her artistic ability also is better than mine. Yeah. Better than mine ever was. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll be like, yo, do this. And she's like, why? And I'm like, just do it. Why do you do it? Do it because that's what I do it. Do it. I don't fucking know. I've been doing this fucking shit, so you fucking do it. You know what I mean?
And it's easier to explain than to like really have to like dig like, oh fuck, why? Well, like, why I can't remember why.
That's just what I do.
Yeah, because it's like somebody told me once. And it's like worked ever since.
Yeah, exactly. So you definitely got to practice what you preach, man. If you're telling someone, and I gotta get it myself too. If you're going to teach someone or show someone, hey, do this, this, and this, your ass better be doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah. And it's, dude, honestly, like, that's my whole, like, time I've been tattooing. Like, I think the first year I, like, partied and, like, realized, like, oh, I'm going to forget all this shit. So I stopped drinking and, like, stopped, like, doing all a bunch of stupid shit.
You don't drink?
Mm-mm. Well, like, I drink socially every fucking once in a while. I'm not like, I used to fucking get slammed like every fucking night. You know what I mean? Like Four Loko back in the day, like doing wild shit.
Woo,
you know what I mean?
God damn.
Yeah.
Hey, like, if you guys are listening and you hear the word Four Loko and it doesn't make your eyes go, oof, you're tripping.
Dude, and it was like the old school shit where I was like, dude, we're not doing tight shit. Like, definitely should have gone to jail a couple times. You know?
He's over here drinking Four Lokos, tagging trains and shit.
Dude, exactly that, honestly. And like not in a good way, because I'm driving my car around fucking smashed with one eye open like a dumbass like kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it was like I had a fucking gnarly hangover one day and I was like trying to tattoo someone and I fucking
Miserable.
had the loudest machine ever, which is how I got the nickname The Machete. Because I used to run this fucking Ryan Downey machine that was like so fucking loud, dude. And someone came in, and it was right after that Danny Trejo movie came out, and they were like, "What the fuck, bro? You're gonna cut someone's arm off with that machine?" And like said
just
that.
Kinda,
yeah. So it like when Instagram came around, but it was so loud in my ear when I was hungover that I was like, "Yo, like this is fucking brutal." Also, this is really fucked up. I'm tattooing someone this hungover.
Yeah, you kind of just reflashed it back.
Yeah, like guilt tripped me into like your clients deserve the best parts of you because they show up hydrated, they ate something, ready to go, ready to get a good tattoo. Like I shouldn't be hungover trying to take a nap in the back before they get there. That's not cool, you know? So
yeah, don't do that. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. I'm just playing. Nah, do you see this energy? This energy eats hangovers. All right, let's be real for a second.
I mean,
I wake up and bye hangover.
Dude, you probably
let's go,
fucking
baby.
just plow through that shit, no problem. Like I'm good, dude. Aspirin
Do you think I'm drunk right now?
Probably.
Exactly, motherfucker.
I'm
sober.
Dude, drunk off burgers, dude. I think from then it was like that's when I realized like if I don't pay attention or remind myself all these like little micro things that you lose in translation over the years, when I go to help somebody or go to teach somebody or something like that, I'm gonna be stuck in that mode like, oh fuck, I don't know. And then you look like kind of like a dumbass, you know?
Yeah.
Not
you come off way more dickish than like a mentor.
Yeah. And it's like I didn't ever want to do that. So anytime I've ever like helped somebody, whether they were in their apprenticeship and I'd be like, yeah, come over and draw and like whatever, I just made sure to always have the answer of like, oh, why do you do it like that? And then being able to be like, okay, cool.
This.
Yeah.
Speaking of art and stuff, I was going to ask you, and I'm going to put you on blast on the podcast. I want to start a paint night.
You do?
And I want to start it with a bunch of tattoo shops.
Okay.
So not just in-house. Like I'm talking about like AZ. Like I feel like again, we've done it a couple times. We've gone to Colossus Tattoo.
Yeah, Colossus did it. Golden Road used to do it like fucking way, like 13 years
That's
ago.
what I'm saying. No one does it anymore. And we do it at my shop. So once a week, my shop just stays over, Sunday night and we just paint.
Yeah, that's sick.
You know what I mean? But I kind of want to start it, but I figured I'd ask you because let's be real, traditional heads are going to be the best way to start it because it's what we do. We do flash and shit.
Yeah,
we should start one.
We should. We just got to find like a good spot to do it. You know what I mean?
Bro, easy.
It would be super easy. I mean, let's talk about it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think it'd be tight, dude. Just get a bunch of fucking tattooers and shit. A buddy of mine is putting on an art show.
Okay.
And how dope would it be that we're doing, weekly or monthly, paint nights and shit. And those paintings that we're doing on those nights are the ones that are involved in an art show and shit.
That'd be tight.
So a buddy of mine just did one not too long ago. And he raised like $35,000 on a paint night for autism.
God damn, that's sick.
35 grand one night for all, and donate it all to an artistic charity.
Yeah, that's rad, dude.
Like that's just tight, and that's just stuff. We're just doing exactly what we do anyways. We're just still gonna paint. We're still doing flash and shit like that. We're just gonna hang it. Well, this is everywhere.
Big thing with like paint nights and shit is we just got to make sure like we're like starting small, getting the group.
Yep.
Building the group like slowly, because every time I feel like it tries to get like big ass paint night. It's like it'll happen one time and then everyone's like, "Oh, too many fucking people. Holy shit!"
No, I agree. I agree. A few people, and then we're doing it multiple times. The same few people. We also don't like know each other. Like none of us are hanging out with each other. So like we're getting comfortable with one another. And then once that settles, then we're like, all right, we might be able to bring a couple people back in, or, more in.
Yeah.
And then you do it again, and then now it's kind of like more like a friend group that does paint shit. You know what I mean? Which again, we already do anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think like that's the one thing that I would say like a lot of what Arizona lacks is like the tattooers that are like all doing shit. Like we don't hang out.
100%.
We might know each other. We might, when we run into each other, oh, what's up, blah, 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 like this and that, like be cool. Like there's no bad blood or anything like that. But there's not that like sense of like community where like, oh, driving by a homeboy shop, like, oh, I should stop
by there. Yeah.
So-and-so,
It
like,
sucks, man.
That kind of thing. And I don't know what it is. Like I always like blame it on like the desert, like tell people it's like desert mentality. Like everyone kind of sticks to their own, like hiding under the rock and shit. And it's cool, but it'd be cooler to see people like outside of a convention. Like I don't do conventions because I'm like, I'm not into that. Like I'll go say what's up and shit and like walk around, but I don't tattoo at them. But like it would be a lot cooler to have people pop in when you're driving by.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, dude? How are you guys doing?
Damn, I drive by your shop all the time.
Dude, pop in.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I'm gonna have to. They're gonna be like, oh fuck, he did a podcast with Don. Now this motherfucker's showing up at the shop.
Well, like Avi was saying that you had reached out to him.
Absolutely.
And he was like, "Oh, dude, I don't know, I'm not that good at talking or whatever."
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, just listen to one of the episodes. So I was like, I should probably do that. And I listened to it, and I was like, oh shit, like he moves the conversation like really good.
Yeah.
And told him that I was like, just fucking do it. You know, I'll let you know how it goes. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And like, hopefully he'll fucking do it because
I just really like his shit, dude.
Well, he's
like that's just what it is. His shit's dope. And I met him at a convention, and he didn't have a problem talking. We chatted. It was cool.
Yeah, I think he's just probably being hard on himself.
Honestly, I mean, this is not easy for everybody. You know what I mean? It's not easy having 3 fucking cameras on you and you're being recorded. Like, I get it. But, like, that's why I like this podcast, because it's really meant to be more raw, way more straightforward. We're just having a conversation, man. You know, this isn't planned out. You and I didn't have a template. There's not any cards in the background. We're literally just talking.
Yeah.
If people want to listen, rad. If not, they're fucking losers. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, this, but again, it's like always touching back on that like thing. Like, this is the shit that Arizona does need.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so that way people do feel more connected or whatever it is. Cause there's like, again, it's like back to the same thing, dude. There's a lot of heavy hitters, dude. Like a fucking Aaron Riddle, fucking amazing tattooer.
Fucking dope.
Dude, insane
dope.
tattooer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I think when I posted that I was coming on here, he like mentioned that you loved your trophies. He's like, oh, that dude loves his trophies, huh?
I love my trophies.
And I was like, well, someone has to.
Yeah. No one else is going to love it. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like one of those things. Like, I know that like everybody would get along to a certain degree.
Yep.
You know, because a lot of us are in that like era between 8 and 15 years where it's not new school, like newer, younger generation, but we're not this like old school, like where we can relate to the like some of that style like of thinking and shit. We're caught in the middle of both, so we take from both, you know? So why not? Like,
see, that's the thing too, is I feel like if the community was closer, it'd be better. Cause like right now it's like high school. The stereotypes are super big, but it's not like hatred. So like, I don't think every tattooer hates one another, but it's like the jock doesn't necessarily talk to, you know, the leadership program leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not doing that. But for all we know, they'd be best fucking friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of scenario. It's just people don't put themselves in that like that situation to get comfortable.
yeah.
And moving on past that, I do love my motherfucking trophies because tattooers don't want to give me credit, so I'm gonna get it elsewhere. I'm gonna get it elsewhere.
Dude,
all right.
Trophies are, you should just build a huge rack in the bathroom. So then everyone's like, why the fuck are they in the bathroom? That'd be sick.
Yeah, dude, my shop,
Just covered in them?
they're just on the floor now because I don't even know fucking put them.
You don't know where to put them? Put them in a t-shirt can and shoot them across the floor.
At this point, I might as well just burn them for fire, for warmth.
Dude, give them to
Listen,
Sam. Give them to
listen.
Give them to Sam.
Oh my God. I hate you. Listen, I'm gonna hit on this topic for like 30 seconds. For the people who are listening, the only reason why I do the contest and I like the trophies and shit like that is because it's my way of showing that I'm keeping consistent and I'm growing, right? So I'm not just doing one show a year. I'm doing, you know, 10 to 20 shows a year all over the United States. So if I go somewhere and I enter a contest and I place, it's, to me, my own personal reasons is showing me that I'm still elevating. I'm still helping myself grow, and I'm still able to keep up with these people who are hard hitters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, dude, Hell City just happened, right? And I just won the category that I was really hoping for, and I beat people I look up to. You know what I mean? So to me, it wasn't to be like, oh, you fucking suck. It was like, holy fuck, like I feel like I'm actually starting to understand what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like the same idea of like, do you want to, like, at least for me, when I was like coming up in tattooing and like why I went to High Noon was like, I looked at those dudes like Johnny and all them like fuck, like they're good, you know? So you throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah.
See if you can fucking swim.
Yeah.
And hopefully you learn some shit.
Well, see, and that's the thing too. It's like, it's not like I'm not entering 50 tattoos and then 49 of them win. It's not like that. But I'm entering as I go. So if I get anything, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, okay, I got fifth place. All right, I got to do this and this to get better. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think people, just because I'm showing the world, I'm posting it on my Instagram and stuff, I'm showing it so like it comes off a certain way, but they don't fucking know me. They don't know how I look at it. Because like right now, people come to my shop and be like, oh, the trophy's cool. I'm still tattooing. I'm not paying attention to all that shit. I'm not looking for the clout. Yeah. But guess what? At the end of the day, the clients that come to my shop, they pay my bills. Right? The clients that come to my shop, they pay my bills, they give me money. So if the trophies that are sitting in my station or in my shop are what make them want to get tattooed by me, bet.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, it's like aesthetically, definitely like to someone who isn't involved in tattooing.
That's what I'm saying. But like
it definitely makes them like, oh shit. Like,
exactly. And it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like I want tattooers to fuck with me, but it's not priority. Yeah. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the clients that are like happy that they went to me, or their tattoo won a trophy or whatever it is, that is more pleasant to me than someone being like, you know what, man, he fucking really likes trophies, or he just looking for this and this and this. Come get tattooed by me, or come hang out with me, experience me as a person, and then make your judgment about what you think you know.
Yeah, and I think,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and obviously to touch on what Aaron was saying, I'm pretty sure he's just busting balls,
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And like all that shit. So I don't want to paint him to be like a dick.
No. I'm actually reaching out to him too for this, because I actually like him for this as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably just gets old to you to like always have to be like, fuck, I gotta like, dude, it's fine. Like it's just a fucking plastic trophy.
Yeah,
you want me to? I can go buy you one and drop it off at your fucking tat shack, #1 sick tat shack. Like fuck off.
Yeah.
Like it is to the general public that isn't familiar with like contests and shit like that. It is impressive.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like, why not have?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing as getting like a Best of New Times award, like best tattoo shop.
Exactly. Why are you doing that if you don't need it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's a reason for them, and there's a reason to enter, and there's a reason for that. It's not always the clout or the attention or whatever the fuck people want to consider it as. It is. There are plenty of benefits to it. Just because maybe other people aren't taking advantage of it or trying doesn't mean that it's wrong.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to even just hear your side of it, to be like, have it be that like thing that is like, as a shop owner, that is like making you throw yourself in the deep end to like test where you're at.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You own a shop now. Now you can't go, but you can't be like, fuck, I'm tired of this place. I'm going to go work with these dudes and try to get better. Well, now you go to a convention, you enter your tattoos, gauge and see where you're at. Cool. Like that makes a lot more sense. And I'm sure and hopefully me bringing that up does explain that a lot to people that, probably bust your balls or like say whatever or hate on it,
Yeah, and I appreciate it. The thing about it is like I'm not mad at people for doing it. I just feel like it ends up being a topic, like fucking every fucking conversation I have with another tattooer or something like that. It always ends up being a thing. And I always say the same thing. If you don't know someone or you haven't experienced it, I mean, this is the first time we've sat and talked.
Yeah.
I'm sure in your head, you either are making up your mind one way or another. Like, okay, maybe he's not that bad of a dude, or yeah, he is fucking annoying, or whatever it is. Like, but you're able to experience it yourself.
Yeah.
You finally are understanding who I am, so like that outside of what Instagram says or what your cousin's mom, sister's brother's tattooer said. You know what I mean? So like, come experience it for yourself before you like push judgment on something. You know what I mean? Just because I enter a lot of contests doesn't mean I'm like some bad dude or like have some ego and shit. I just want to get better. Dude, there's tattooers that have been tattooing 20 years that are entering this shit. Dude, what are they doing? They're trying to get clout? No, they fucking already made it. Mike Chambers entered.
Yeah.
Mike Chambers is a fucking goat.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell him that he's looking for something else, a clout or something.
Yeah, and to me,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's. I think a lot of it is, like you said, like it doesn't need to be like something defining to you.
Exactly.
And like I would say 100%, like me coming on here and talking to you, like it's totally changed like my mind on even who I thought you were, like your online representation and whatever else it is. Like I knew that I had chatted with you here and there, whatever, like you were cool. You might have like talked and yelled and laughed and fucking been crazy when I was around you once.
Yeah.
And maybe, it was kind of like annoying, but I'm not going to like make 5 minutes of me being around you and you posting tattoo trophies a whole defining thing on who you are. This is definitely a lot more defining. Yeah. Because it's more raw, like you were talking about, and that's tight.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, dude, we're fucking being recorded. We're recorded. There's nothing to hide. There ain't nothing fake. There's no editing needed. You know what I mean? So, like, what you're getting is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's like, it's just like kind of put more emphasis on like the part where maybe people are like, yeah, I like him, but he's annoying. It is definitely put more emphasis on, this dude's tight.
More,
I like him.
Yeah.
Know, maybe he's just being funny and you guys are taking it too goddamn serious.
Maybe I'm just enjoying life and you guys are just sensitive.
Everybody is sensitive. It's fucking spooky season, dude. You better chill, dude. Some pumpkin spice bitch show up.
Okay. So just a little bit more. You said it's fucking spooky season,
dude.
Again, you guys can't hear it, so you guys don't have to enjoy the fun over here. But it's cool. He's just gonna laugh.
they need headphones, dude. So
yeah, we should. You have to say we need to adapt next time, and you guys get a little. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the one thing that every single person on the podcast they get the same thing. Everyone. I want you to ask me a question. Any question you could ever imagine, either whether it's something you want to know, whether it's an opinion, whether it's specific, anything you want, I'll answer it. Every single guest has asked me one question. For instance, just as a reference, people have asked, why do people hate you? What needles do you use to pack this, and this? Or blah, blah, blah. Just one thing that you think might be a decent topic that you think I can answer or maybe wouldn't want to answer.
Okay. Since we kind of talked about like apprenticeships and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you could go back and reapproach it, like would you take a traditional apprenticeship to get into tattooing? Okay.
So if I could start all over, I would 100% want an apprenticeship. 100%. I wanted one in the first place.
Yeah.
But I was in an area where they weren't willing to share knowledge. So that's why I moved to Arizona.
Okay.
And so thinking Arizona would be, so saturated that it was going to be more, it was going to be easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that you learn by yourself at such a slower rate. And I feel like even now, I've been tattooing 8 years now, and I feel like I should have been at the level I am right now, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Reason being is my mental state. I feel like I got through it, and I was, I self-taught myself and blah, 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 blah. But if I had someone show me what not to do, the growth process would have been so much faster, and I would have understood so much more instead of trial and error. Because that's pretty much all it was, man. It's trial and error like a motherfucker.
So you feel like the aspects of like just learning to technically tattoo would have helped you like a lot faster?
100%. 100%. The thing about it is I wasn't an artist before I tattooed. I never drew, nothing like that. Never. So I honestly think that you can teach yourself anything. It sounds corny and stuff, but like literally you can't tell me I can't do shit. I have a mental stability that I feel like if you told me fuck tattooing and you were going to be a fucking professional UFC fighter, professional photographer, literally damn near anything, I would do it.
Yeah.
So the drawing part I think was not necessarily, it was the hardest part, but it was the easiest mentally. But being able to do a tattoo and then it sucked, and then do another tattoo and it sucked. That is the most mentally draining, sucking, defeating thing possible. So if I would have had someone there being like, yo, do this, don't do this, you fucking suck, stop doing this, blah, 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 I would have just shut my fucking mouth and did it. So that way, years later, I was way better.
Yeah.
I think a traditional apprenticeship through the right mentor is always the way to go. 100%. Self-taught, you get yourself in the door, but that door is shutting right off the bat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I feel like most people's answer is like similar to that.
Yeah, dude, your brain only gets you so far, man. People have knowledge that you don't have. It's that simple. Like you were saying, brother, whether they're an apprentice 20 years, 5 years, like someone's got something that you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And
like, so absorbing it.
As long as you're open to that, which is cool to like, especially like hear like you, that you're like open to, like I might be teaching somebody to tattoo currently or helping somebody out of their apprenticeship that they're trying to get better, but that they're able to like teach you shit too.
Absolutely, dude. Like, dude, literally Mark from my last podcast said it so perfectly. The day that you feel like you already learned it all, the day that you feel like you don't need to grow with what's happening is the day you quit on yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not quitting shit. Unfortunately, all the tattooers and all the people who wish I wasn't here, they're shit out of fucking luck. I'm going to stay tattooing. I'm going to stay growing. I'm going to stay getting better. And if someone new, someone old, someone who's not even in this fucking industry, if they can teach me something, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in, dude. I'm fucking in.
Well, I think it's like you've been mentioning, like there's so much more to tattooing now other than just being the guy that tattoos on the block and there's nobody else left for 20 blocks.
Exactly.
So you learn to adapt like a lot more from more sources.
Yep.
Than just like the mentorship.
And you don't have to take it all. That's what bugs me. So if I tell you right now, hey, only use these type of liners, you'll have the best lines ever. You don't have to do it. It might help you. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't, and you don't got to do it. But at least take it in and be like, you know what? Like it might be a possibility.
Yeah. And again, like
you know what I mean?
Like I said, like I always try everything once.
Yep.
So if you like handed me a needle or a pack of needles, like
you would try it.
Try this. Tell me if you like it.
Yeah.
It makes my lines better. It might make yours. I would go and fucking try it. And like, it might be just for like one line. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I fucking chunked them up. Yeah. And like toss it, but at least I can try it. And then when you go, hey man, did you like that needle? I can go like, oh no, my machines run too fast, too slow, too hard, too soft.
But you experienced it.
Yeah.
You took an opportunity to get better. Didn't need to necessarily benefit you, but you took the opportunity to try. Whether it failed or not, you gave it a shot. You gave it a shot. That right there shows that you care. That right there shows that you want to get better, that you're open to other people's knowledge and shit like that. Dude, I'm sorry. There's fucking 5,000 ways to fix a car. None of them are the quote-unquote proper way. People do it differently. There's fucking billions of tools that do the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah. It's like what I was saying. Like the destination is the same.
Yep.
It's a good tattoos. There's 900 paths there.
Yep, 100%.
Just fucking do that, you know?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you have knowledge to share it. It is up to someone else to take that knowledge, whether it is good or bad, and have it benefit them. I think bad knowledge is beneficial. I think knowledge that you don't want to listen to is still beneficial.
Yeah.
All of it is beneficial. Bro, it's literally like saying what's that quote that one always says, like, all publicity is bad publicity? Or all publicity is good publicity, right? Yeah, right? All information is good. Yeah. All of it's good. None of it's bad.
It's like sometimes it's like, I don't know. I agree. Because it's like one of those things where like you might be watching somebody at a convention do a tattoo and you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to fuck with that, you know?
Yep.
Or like whatever it is, that machine hits too hard or whatever it is. Like I think that goes like way further. Mm-hmm. And like me and you can share information with each other. And you might be like listening, but some people like listen and don't actually hear what you say.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know. 100%.
Versus like some people do.
Yeah. They're taking it. Taking it.
Oh yeah. They'll do what I do. Like try it at least once and then be like, fuck, like I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. And it's like, you don't have to be sorry.
But it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Please tell me how trying something is going to hurt you.
Yeah. And like you said, like at least now you know, stay away from that shit.
Exactly.
Because you
still learn what
someone up or whatever it is.
You know what I mean? I mean, photographers and videographers and stuff like that. That someone says, hey, use this lens. You're not gonna be like, no, fuck that lens. That lens fucking sucks. You're probably gonna try it and be like, oh shit, like that lens is actually better than what I've been using, or you know, that edit or that filter or that, you know, the ISO, whatever the hell it is. You're taking it in, give it a shot. If it benefits your stuff, dope. If not, you tried it, you gave it a shot.
And it might just be one of those things where like too, like I think I have like plenty of shit in my station that I literally have it for that one time I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used it once, I was like, oh, this would be really good for stippling.
Yeah, this specifically.
You know, or whatever it is. And it's like, maybe I barely do stipple tattoos anymore. Mm-hmm. But at least I have it in case
if it comes up, yeah. I don't know, man. At the end of the day, this is a fucking honestly perfect way to end the podcast. I think the easiest way to explain it is just simple as that. If you have the opportunity to take in some knowledge, take it. That doesn't mean that you need to use it. Just take it in, understand it, acknowledge it, and then do what you please with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think you hit it like right on the fucking head with that shit. Like not all information is good information and not all information is bad information.
Yep.
It's just there.
Take it in, use it. Simple as that. But for now, we are going to end this Tat Chat podcast. And don't forget to follow Manny on his Instagram, which is
Manny _ the Machete.
If you guys are looking for a big ass, badass, bold ass tattoo, this is your guy. Make sure to stay tuned for his tattoos, and we will see you next time. We out.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, of course. Peace.